I think you're preparing for a difficult exam, not a wedding, Anna Marie. You're too focused, said her friend, with just over a month to go until the wedding. Isn't this supposed to be a happy and carefree time? Thank goodness there are people to take care of all the difficulties. Anna Marie smiled and shrugged. I can take care of everything myself. My wedding is the most important event for me, after all. In truth, she wasn't worried about the upcoming celebration. She could easily delegate the wedding organization to specialists. Money wasn't an issue. She could pay to be carefree and happy until the big day. After all, if a problem can be solved with money, it's not really a problem. Anna Marie had the money, but she couldn't solve the problem before her with it. She had no one to consult. That's the downside of wealth. It's hard to trust anyone, and it's scary to show your weakness. What if someone decided to take advantage of you? Her late father had warned her about this. In his youth he had suffered more than once because of his own naivety and belief in selfless friendship. Things would have been different if her parents were still alive. Anna Marie barely remembered her mother, who had died when she was only 3. Her father never remarried. He didn't want to give his daughter a stepmother, and as a wealthy man, he was afraid of being taken advantage of. He had learned from bitter experience and doubted that the women who tried to impress him were truly interested in him, and not just his money. There had been some relationships, but they all disappointed him before reaching the point of marriage. So he lived as a widower, telling everyone that his only love had died and his only attachment was to his daughter. He took care of Anna Marie, and she, loving her father unconditionally, tried to live in a way that would never disappoint him. She excelled in school and graduated with honors. When her father decided to send her abroad for further education, she cried for days. "Daddy, how can you do this? How will you be here without me, and how will I be without you? I don't want to part. Are there no good universities here in our city? That's out of the question. We'll have to part anyway. And in Europe, there's not only a high level of education but also safety. Spare my nerves." Anna Marie could never refuse her father. His words were law, and as she convinced herself, he was always absolutely right. Only after successfully completing her studies abroad did she realize she might have left in vain. She found her father ill. Mr. Friedberg wasn't in the hospital. He was as always cheerful, active, and the external changes were not so noticeable. He didn't tell his daughter anything about his illness, but doctors visited them suspiciously often. Sometimes Mr. Friedberg went to different clinics, and from fragments of conversations with words like chemotherapy, radiation, and gamma knife, it was easy to understand that Anna Marie's father had cancer. Eventually, he stopped hiding the truth. "Yes, daughter, it's bad, but wait. There's nothing irreparable. The best doctors are treating me. I'll last for some time yet. Isn't it better for you to go abroad now? They said in Israel, stop it. Of course, I could go to the moon if I wanted, but I don't want to leave my business. You're just getting into the business, and although you're an intelligent girl, if I leave everything to you now, you won't have any support. I have to leave you in complete confidence that you will be happy and provided for." So he never went anywhere, and at home, even the best doctors couldn't cope. The disease took its toll and developed rapidly. Soon, Mr. Friedberg's condition worsened, leading to long confidential conversations between father and daughter. "My poor little girl, it's not my fault that I left you completely alone," Mr. Friedberg said. "You could have been married by now. I would have looked at your fiancé through a microscope, but now what? You'll get married anyway, but I am afraid you won't find the right one." "Don't say that, Daddy. You'll live for a long time," Anna Marie said, trying to hold back her tears. "God save me from a life like this. If I were a dog, they would have pitied me and put me to sleep. And you say a long time. 2 years ago, Anna Marie's father died, leaving her alone. Now, she really needed his advice because she was getting married. It seemed she was marrying a good, loving person who didn't need her money, but doubts still plagued her. She met Jeff by chance. Anna Marie would sometimes go to a small cafe near her office to distract herself from work and enjoy a cup of coffee. Her colleagues knew this and tried not to bother her during these moments. One day, her solitude was interrupted by a handsome young man. At first, Anna Marie wasn't pleased about it, but it was awkward to chase him away immediately. He didn't seem to be bothering her. He was just another person wanting a cup of coffee, and there were no free tables. He looked at her with interest, but there was nothing strange about that. She was beautiful, and there was nothing suspicious about him asking her a question. It was uncomfortable to sit across from each other in silence. They were roughly the same age and from the same social strata, and they must have had common topics. The young man took a book by a well-known author, which had recently been released, and mentioned it. By the way, Anna Marie didn't really like that book. How could two book lovers not get involved in a conversation? They jumped from one book to another, then to a third. Anna Marie looked at her watch and sighed. She had almost spent an hour on her break. "I'm sorry. I have to get back to work. Business before pleasure," Anna Marie said, standing up. "Oh, I just came here for a cup of coffee, and instead we had a very interesting conversation. Don't you agree?" Jeff replied. "I entirely agree. It's rare to meet someone who shares your tastes. Maybe we'll meet after work sometime. I'm sorry, I don't even know your name." "Anna Marie." "And I'm Jeff. Your name is rare and beautiful. My mother came up with it. My father wanted to call me just Anna, but my mother decided that Anna was too short, and Anna Marie was just right. And it is really original. I like it. And I like it too. Your mother had good taste." Anna Marie didn't tell him that neither her mother nor father were around anymore. She didn't have time for that now, but there would be plenty of conversations ahead, lively and interesting, because they decided to meet that same evening in a more presentable place. As Anna Marie found herself more and more drawn to Jeff, she was cautious about revealing all her cards. But her caution turned out to be unnecessary. Jeff wasn't looking for rich heiresses. In fact, he himself wasn't poor. His father ran a business abroad, and Jeff managed one of its branches in the city. He lived with his mother, which was unusual for a man his age, but he hinted at his mother's health problems, which prevented her from living alone. "My mother's illness doesn't require treatment. It's a chronic condition you can live with for a long time without too much suffering, but it's impossible to cure completely," Jeff explained, sighing. Anna Marie apologized for her curiosity, remembering her father's illness and understanding the worries about a loved one's health. Their relationship developed rapidly. Anna Marie was only surprised that Jeff never invited her to his home. However, this was explained quite simply. They had lived abroad for some time, sold their apartment here, and didn't want to buy a new one. They dreamed of their own home, which they had already found but needed to fix up. "We are currently staying in a hotel room with my mom. The room is lovely, of course, but you know it's not very appropriate to invite your girlfriend to a hotel," Jeff explained. Anna Marie agreed and was perfectly fine with his explanation. Besides, Jeff's attitude toward her was serious. When Jeff proposed to her one day, Anna Marie wasn't even surprised, as if she had been expecting it. She agreed but asked that the wedding be scheduled 3 months later, not earlier. Jeff found this request strange, but she explained that she needed time to prepare and had too many tasks at work in the near future. By this time, Jeff already knew that Anna Marie lived alone in her big house. Her parents had died. After the proposal was made and the wedding date set, nothing prevented them from living together except for Jeff's mother's dependency on him. Once it was clear that their lives were forever intertwined, Jeff explained his mother's condition to Anna Marie. "You see, she is deaf and mute. It's not a genetic defect, she just got seriously ill as a child. She can live with it, but it's difficult, especially when she's alone. Imagine she can't make a phone call to ask for a service in a hotel and doesn't understand when someone is talking to her," Jeff sadly explained. Anna Marie was surprised. "And she can't understand by reading lips?" "No, she can't speak or read lips. Unfortunately, her parents were very simple people and couldn't afford the resources to help her learn. She survived, thank God, but she has something wrong with her vocal cords. She can't speak or read lips. We communicate with each other using gestures. We understand each other perfectly. She's a very charming woman, I assure you," Jeff added. Anna Marie smiled. "I will be happy to meet her. We can communicate through a translator, that is, through you. I never doubted that you would be understanding about everything. Jeff sighed in relief, and then made his request. I really want to live with you, but how can I leave my mother? Are you okay if she stays with us in your house for now? Anna Marie agreed, though she wasn't particularly enthusiastic. Jeff probably sensed that. I understand all young people want to live separately from their parents, but my situation is somewhat different. Besides, I think when our house is ready, I can hire someone like a caregiver or companion, someone with the right education, to live with my mother permanently. Anna Marie felt sorry for her future husband and his mother. Well, Jeff, I'm not at all upset that your mother will be with us. I'm sure we'll get along great. And your father? Won't he come here just to visit his wife? Jeff's expression grew even darker. No, things are very complicated with my father. You see, when they got married, he probably fell so in love that her flaws didn't seem terrible. They lived quite well at first, but then he just fell out of love and didn't hide it. My mother isn't the kind of person who would live with someone who doesn't love her. That's why we left. I have purely business relations with him, and my mother has no relations with him at all, Jeff said. After such revelations, Anna Marie couldn't refuse. She felt obliged to welcome Jeff's mother into their home. It was time for them to meet, and the house was big enough to accommodate her mother-in-law and future children. The next day, Jeff arrived with his mother. She turned out to be a very pleasant woman, beautiful, well-groomed, and looking very young. Anna Marie couldn't help but notice that, although there was no striking resemblance between Jeff and his mother, they could almost be mistaken for siblings. Anna Marie herself took after her father, not her mother. Jeff's mother sat at the table with a nice smile, looking slightly embarrassed and confused. She didn't understand anything Anna Marie was saying, so Jeff translated. Anna Marie watched as their hands fluttered in conversation. Jeff's mother's hands were small and thin, and it was pleasant to watch them move, though it was somewhat disappointing that Anna Marie couldn't understand anything. I probably need to learn their language. I have to be able to communicate with my mother-in-law somehow if my husband isn't home, Anna Marie thought. Nevertheless, Anna Marie couldn't help but feel a certain joy in her position. Many of her acquaintances complained about the grumpiness or meddlesomeness of their mothers-in-law, but she wouldn't have such a problem. A quiet, petite woman wouldn't get in the way of the young couple. She would almost be invisible in the house. Anna Marie even thought about offering Mrs. Carter to stay with them forever. It would surely be pleasant for both her and Jeff, who was so affectionate towards his mother. Although he said they would eventually move her into their house, it was clear he didn't really want to. So their life together began. At first, it didn't seem strange or burdensome. Jeff's mother really didn't bother anyone. The small, airy woman almost floated through the house, smiling sweetly at Anna Marie or making some mysterious gestures to her son. Sometimes Jeff translated her words to his fiancée, and sometimes he just waved them off, indicating that Mrs. Carter had said something that only related to her son and not to his future bride. But as the wedding approached, Anna Marie began to feel increasingly uncomfortable living with her mother-in-law. Mother and son communicated more and more frequently in their own silent language, which was completely inaccessible to Anna Marie. Jeff didn't always bother to explain what they were talking about. "We're just talking about our own things. Don't pay attention," he would often say with a dismissive wave, while his mother smiled, a smile that now seemed more poisonous than sweet to Anna Marie. Sometimes it felt like Jeff's mother understood everything they were talking about, which made Anna Marie uneasy. She decided she needed to learn sign language, initially thinking it would help her build a better relationship with her mother-in-law, but now she realized she needed this knowledge for a different reason. Perhaps her future relatives weren't hiding anything, but Jeff's reluctance to translate their conversations was troubling. What does he mean it doesn't concern me? I'm not a stranger. If they have nothing to hide, why not explain? It's just rude for two people to communicate in an incomprehensible language to a third party, Anna Marie thought. Anna Marie didn't want to confront Jeff directly, but she wasn't used to silently worrying either. She knew how to solve problems, and she intended to solve this one too. After going through several ads, she realized that learning sign language was much harder than learning any foreign language. There were very few teachers, but she was lucky to find Mrs. Cohen, a nice elderly woman who lived nearby and was willing to adjust to any schedule. Mrs. Cohen was already retired and apparently didn't have many students. After agreeing on the phone, Anna Marie went to her first lesson the next day. To be honest, I don't know if I'll be able to learn this. It seems so difficult, Anna Marie confessed. Well, they learned it, and you'll learn it too. I'm sure you'll succeed, especially with me. I'm an experienced teacher and have worked in a speech boarding school for many years, Mrs. Cohen reassured her. I've taught so many people, both kids and adults, and it has worked out fine for everyone. And when can we start learning? Anna Marie asked eagerly. Well, today if you'd like. Soon you'll see that it's not so difficult. Maybe you'll learn it quickly. Is the price okay with you? Mrs. Cohen asked, a little embarrassed as the cost was not small. Yes, it's quite okay, Anna Marie replied. If you've read the ads, you probably know that I'm not charging more than others. Maybe I would have charged less, but I need the money. You understand, not just for myself. There are some problems that don't allow me to be cheaper, the teacher said. The first lesson was introductory, and Anna Marie liked how Mrs. Cohen conducted it. She explained everything clearly, reinforcing her words with gestures from her elderly but very flexible and expressive hands. Anna Marie even caught familiar movements. You're a wonderful student, Mrs. Cohen praised her. I'm sure we'll succeed in everything soon. You're a great teacher. It's very interesting and informative to study with you, Anna Marie replied with a smile. They were pleased with each other, laughing, but their conversation was interrupted by the sudden appearance of a 5-year-old boy. He greeted the unfamiliar guest with a smile and apologized. Mario, the teacher exclaimed, are you already up? I was in class, but it's finished now. We'll be eating soon. Stay in your room for now. Okay, the boy replied. Can I watch TV for a bit? No, not yet. After lunch, Mrs. Cohen said, do you want to join us? She asked Anna Marie. No, thank you very much. I have to go, Anna Marie declined politely. Will you come back? The little boy asked, seemingly interested in his grandmother's student. Yes, I will. I have the next lesson tomorrow, Anna Marie replied with a smile. She liked the little boy. Later that evening, she looked at her future husband and his mother with a new perspective. Their movements no longer appeared meaningless to her. She still didn't understand what they were talking about, but she sensed the importance of their conversation and its need for privacy. Somehow, Jeff felt the difference in Anna Marie. He soon put his mother to bed and, alone with Anna Marie, reproached her, saying, You were watching us so closely today. Don't you understand that it can be hurtful to a disabled person like my mother? Do you think I offended her? I'll apologize tomorrow. But don't you understand that it can be hurtful to me when you talk like I'm not even in the room with you? Tomorrow I'll invite a friend over and start speaking German with her. You don't know German, do you? Won't you be hurt? Oh, you're offended. What's the big deal? We were talking about my mother's health. Am I supposed to translate her test results for you? Why not? Do you not think I'm interested in her health? Do you think I'm heartless? Okay, we won't be so inattentive to you anymore. Sorry, Jeff replied, sounding irritated. We haven't even gotten married yet, and there are already so many misunderstandings between us. Secrets, offenses. Anna Marie thought to herself worriedly. She loved Jeff and dreamed of a family and children, especially after meeting little Mario. For the first time in a long time, she touched a warm, silky head and exchanged a few words with the child. She didn't even want to think about the possibility of breaking up with her beloved, but she understood that his mother could become a serious obstacle to their happiness. The mere presence of this quiet woman, who seemed so sweet at first acquaintance, was now extremely unpleasant. But she couldn't tell her fiancé about it, could she? Nor could she hint that Mrs. Carter would be better off moving to her own home. Hadn't Jeff found a companion for her yet? On her way to her next lesson with Mrs. Cohen, Anna Marie found herself stopping by a pastry shop and buying a box of pastries. On the one hand, there was nothing strange about it. She was not only going to class, but also visiting a house where a little child lived. Could you come to a house where children live empty-handed? Of course not. And looking into a children's store, she bought a toy, a cheerful gnome. Nothing special, but the little boy would be pleased. Neither his grandmother nor his parents, if they were home this time, would be offended. I hope so, she thought to herself, noting that she had not noticed any signs of other adults in the apartment except for Mrs. Kuhn. The elderly teacher thanked Anna Marie for the treats. Mario was delighted, hugging the gnome to his chest and asking, "Can I sleep with him, please?" "Of course you can. I'm sure he'll send you magical dreams," Anna Marie replied, and the boy ran to his room. "Thank you, but why did you have to spend so much?" Mrs. Kuhn asked, slightly embarrassed. "What are you talking about? It wasn't a significant expense. Besides, I heard that you have to not only pay but also give back for education and treatment. Otherwise, it won't be effective," Anna Marie joked. "And why did you buy a toy? Mario doesn't teach you anything." "That's not true. The thing is, I love children and I love buying toys. Since I don't have my own little ones yet, there's no one to buy them for. So I should be grateful to Mario for allowing me to experience this joy. He likes you, Anna Marie. Poor little boy. He always enjoys communicating with women younger than me. It's a longing for his mother. My daughter-in-law died in childbirth, so he never saw her. And my son. Like any mother, I wanted to see my son happy. But he became a widower at a very young age. A year later, I began urging him to find a wife, but he wouldn't listen. He became very despondent, and things were difficult for us. 2 years ago, Patrick went to work on a long-term shift in the north and disappeared. The search yielded nothing. Since then, he has been presumed dead, but I don't believe it." Uninvited tears filled the old woman's eyes. Anna Marie touched Mrs. Kuhn's hand sympathetically, wanting to say something encouraging, but Mrs. Kuhn stopped her. "That's enough. Let's start studying. You're paying me not for my life story. Do you understand now why I have to work at my age?" They started lessons almost every day, and Anna Marie always brought small gifts for the teacher and her grandson, begging Mrs. Kuhn not to forbid or stop her from doing so. "I told you it brings me joy. And besides, it seems like I'm making progress, don't you think?" "Yes, undoubtedly. You are a very talented student." It was truly so. Whether it was Anna Marie's abilities or her quick desire to learn Jeff and his mother's secret language, she made significant progress. In class, they could now communicate fully with Mrs. Kuhn using sign language. Sometimes, Anna Marie asked the teacher to simply tell her something with her hands, carefully watching her movements and trying to decipher every word. "So, I understand that you want to learn not so much to speak as to listen," the elderly woman guessed. "Well, that's your right. And I want to tell you that not only gestures but also the face plays a significant role in this understanding. Its expression, its facial expressions. Some concepts can change significantly through articulation. So watch not only the hands but also the face." After a month of lessons, Anna Marie had indeed made significant progress in understanding sign language. But she tried not to show it at home. She was as delicate as possible and didn't look at Jeff and his mother when they communicated in their private language. She was afraid she might miss a word, misunderstand a phrase, and draw the wrong conclusion, or worse, reveal herself. Anna Marie didn't rush to end her lessons with Mrs. Kuhn, but her reasons had shifted. She was reluctant to part with Mario, feeling a sense of pride and joy that the boy eagerly awaited her visits and was happy to see her. She wondered if, after the lessons ended, Mrs. Kuhn would still allow her to visit. One day, confident that she could now grasp the essence of Jeff and his mother's conversations, Anna Marie decided to pay close attention to their next exchange. Her recent discretion had heightened Jeff and Mrs. Kuhn's vigilance. Previously, they had been sure she didn't understand anything, but now that she no longer asked for clarifications or watched them intently, they spoke freely at any opportunity. The first conversation she overheard shocked her deeply and nearly overwhelmed her composure. "I'm so tired of playing the role of a mute mother. Do you think it's easy for me knowing that you're having fun in your bride's bedroom?" Mrs. Cohen gestured. You can't help it. A lot depends on this. I haven't neglected you either, Jeff replied. When's the wedding already, and how much do you expect to profit from it? Mrs. Cohen asked. We'll be set for a long time. We can skip our cons for a whole year, Jeff said. Oh, I hope I don't forget the language during that time, Mrs. Cohen added. Anna Marie was horrified. She didn't finish listening and quickly left the room to avoid giving herself away. She wasn't planning to confront the fraudsters on her own. She realized she needed to be cautious. Exposing them might have dangerous consequences if they realized their secret was out. How had she been deceived so thoroughly? Why hadn't she investigated more about her fiancé, his business, and his mother? She wondered if his supposed concern for his mother had clouded her judgment. They were, without a doubt, sophisticated con artists. Determined to take action, Anna Marie knew she had to report them to the police. It would be embarrassing, but it was better to face the shame now than to be left with nothing after the wedding. The next day, Anna Marie went to the police station and reported the scammers. The investigator's face lit up with satisfaction, as if he had received a precious gift. Mutants at your house. We've been searching for them for a long time. Their schemes operate across various cities, always using the same method. One of them pretends to be deaf and mute to elicit sympathy and avoid detection. In reality, they're neither deaf nor mute. They'll sing like nightingales at interrogations and trials. And they aren't really mother and son? Anna Marie asked. No, they're not. They're a criminal pair. She's only about 12 years older than her so-called son. They're lovers, actually. Excuse my bluntness, but you did a fantastic job uncovering them. You even took the time to learn their language. Anna Marie hoped the scammers hadn't discovered her actions. No, I didn't tell them, she replied, her voice trembling. She was filled with shame, hurt, and sorrow for the happiness that had slipped away. She had loved Jeff deeply and had trusted him implicitly. How could she trust anyone now? I'll send a team immediately to deal with the scammers. They will be held accountable for their actions, the investigator said briskly. And don't be upset. Everything will turn out well for you. There have been some very tragic cases in their past. Anna Marie waited until her house was cleared of the imposters. Only then did she step inside. The first thing she did was to cry her heart out in her bedroom. Afterward, she called a cleaning service to thoroughly sanitize the house from any remnants of the criminals. Only then did she feel a sense of relief. Having removed the deceitful fraudsters from her life, Anna Marie wanted to express her gratitude to Mrs. Cohen, who had helped her avoid a serious danger. She brought sweets, fruits, and a toy and went to see Mrs. Cohen to explain the whole truth about why she had taken the lessons. Mrs. Cohen and Mario were delighted to see her. They sent Mario to his room to play while Anna Marie and Mrs. Cohen chatted happily in the sign language Anna Marie had learned. Mrs. Cohen congratulated Anna Marie on escaping the danger, but Anna Marie was taken aback by Mrs. Cohen's frail appearance and the medical books she was carrying. I didn't ask before, but it seems you're having health issues, Anna Marie said gently. Mrs. Cohen sighed deeply. I've been through so much in the past 5 years that even a stronger person might not have made it. My beloved daughter-in-law died, my son disappeared, and now my grandson is orphaned. I often go to bed wondering if I'll wake up the next morning. I'm not afraid for myself, but for little Mario. We're all alone. Who will take care of him if I'm gone? Don't say that, Anna Marie replied, her voice filled with concern. Maybe you need some medicine. Tell me what you need, and I'll try to find it. Thank you, but why should you care about me? Mrs. Cohen asked, a touch of disbelief in her voice. It just so happens that you've become very important to me over these last few months. I'm alone too, and I had hoped for a family, a husband and children, but that didn't work out. So please, don't hide anything from me. Tell me if you need anything. You still have a lot of life ahead of you. After a while, Mario called Anna Marie at work, crying and saying that his grandmother was very ill. Anna Marie rushed to the house. Mrs. Cohen was still conscious, but so unwell that she couldn't call an ambulance. Anna Marie did it for her, and while waiting for the paramedics, Mrs. Cohen whispered, "Don't leave Mario, Anna Marie. Don't leave him." Mrs. Cohen was soon taken to the hospital, and Anna Marie took the frightened child with her. As they traveled, Mario repeatedly asked if his grandmother would get better, if he would be sent to an orphanage, and when his dad would come back. "Don't worry, Mario. Everything will be fine. I'll take care of you," Anna Marie reassured him, though she herself was deeply worried. Unfortunately, a few days later, they received the heartbreaking news that Mrs. Cohen had passed away. Anna Marie had to handle the arrangements and support little Mario through this difficult time. Anna Marie was determined to formalize her guardianship over Mario despite the challenges. As he was not a blood relative, it required substantial effort and resources, but her persistence, along with financial and professional connections, ultimately secured his place in her home legally. With Mario now under her care, Anna Marie focused on finding a reliable nanny to manage her responsibilities at home while she returned to work. However, her attention to her business waned, leading to a decline in revenue and increased threats from competitors. She began to suspect that someone within her company was betraying her, with her deputy being the prime suspect. Despite his attempts to reassure her of his loyalty, Anna Marie's suspicions only grew stronger. A scheduled meeting with the board to address these issues never took place, and Anna Marie's situation took a tragic turn when she was involved in a car accident due to tampered brakes. Although she survived, she sustained a severe spinal injury that left her unable to walk. The doctors were hopeful about her recovery with proper treatment and rehabilitation, but Anna Marie was overwhelmed with despair. The mounting personal losses, her fractured personal life, Mrs. Cohen's death, and the recent betrayal left her feeling isolated and disheartened. The accident was no accident. It was orchestrated by her deputy, who had long sought to become the sole owner of her company. The investigator managed to recover footage from a damaged recorder, confirming Ben's treachery. As Ben faced justice for his crimes, Anna Marie was left grappling with both the physical and emotional toll of her experiences. Anna Marie was paralyzed by fear. The thought of becoming helpless and potentially losing custody of Mario, sending him to an orphanage, filled her with dread. Her depression deepened, and she contemplated giving up entirely. With some money left, she considered living out her days in minimal comfort, relying on a nurse, housekeeper, and her remaining funds for basic needs. She felt abandoned by everyone and disheartened by the collapse of her hard-earned success. Just when she was at her lowest, an unexpected visitor arrived, Mrs. Cohen's missing son. Anna Marie regarded the man with cold indifference, her skepticism fueled by the numerous deceptions she had endured recently. The man appeared taken aback by her lack of enthusiasm. "Yes, Mrs. Cohen was my mother, and Mario is my son," he said, looking uncertain. "I know Mom has passed, but where is Mario? I heard you've taken him in." Anna Marie, struggling with her emotions, gestured to the armrest of her chair and called out, "Helen, please bring Mario here." The man placed a stack of papers on the table, but Anna Marie barely glanced at them. "I don't need your documents," she said. "I'm well aware of how they can be falsified. What exactly do you want, Mario or money?" At that moment, the nanny entered with Mario. The boy stared at the stranger with confusion. He hadn't seen his father in over 2 years, and the man's appearance was unfamiliar to him. "Don't you recognize him, Mario?" Anna Marie asked gently. The man, now visibly pale, reached out to Mario. The boy's eyes flickered with a mix of recognition and disbelief. He hesitated, then took Anna Marie's hand, looking up at her with fear. "Anna Marie, has he come for me?" Mario asked, his voice trembling. "It seems so, little one," the man said, trying to reassure him. "I'm your dad. Don't you remember me at all? I used to push you on the swings, and we went to the bird exhibition together. Remember how you were scared of the big, colorful parrot?" Mario's face lit up with a glimmer of recognition. "Yes," he said tentatively. The man sighed in relief, and Anna Marie, though still troubled, saw a faint hope for a resolution in this unexpected reunion. The man hesitated and asked, "What did he say?" "Hello," the boy replied uncertainly, gripping Anna Marie's hand tightly. His fear of the stranger was evident. He clearly didn't want to leave her side. "Do I have to go with you?" Mario asked, his voice quivering. I want to stay here with Anna Marie. I love her. Don't be afraid, Anna Marie reassured him. I'm not going to take anyone away. I just want to make sure everything is okay and visit you for a while. Maybe, once Mario gets used to me, we can become friends. Well, as you can see, everything is fine here, Anna Marie said, tapping the armrest of her chair. Honestly, I was worried you might try to take Mario away as he's the last connection I have to my life. Mario, go play with Tanya for a bit. I need to talk to your dad. Once Mario had left the room, Anna Marie turned her attention back to the man. Okay, if you don't want the boy, what do you want? Money. Money? No, the man said. I want to communicate with my son. I'm not planning to take him right now. I just need your permission to visit him. I don't understand, Anna Marie replied. You say you want to visit, but why should I believe you? I've been deceived so many times. You claim to be Mrs. Kuhn's son and Mario's father, but you've been absent for almost 3 years. That's a long time, and you didn't even keep in touch or support them. I understand it's hard to believe, the man admitted. I can explain my absence, but it's an incredible story. It might sound more plausible to think of me as a scoundrel who abandoned them. I don't care about your story, Anna Marie said, her frustration evident. Whether you were lost or left willingly, it doesn't matter. What matters is that Mario should be with his biological father if you're a stable and healthy person. I'm practically a wreck, and no matter what the doctors say, I may never walk again. I'm just a shadow of my former self, living off my remaining money. I can't be much of a guardian. That's understandable, the man said. I live in Mrs. Kuhn's apartment. I'm her direct heir, and it's familiar to Mario. It might be more comfortable for him there. As for your recovery, didn't the doctors promise you a chance? They promise anything, Anna Marie replied bitterly. They know I have money, so they'll try every treatment option. But if recovery isn't possible, what's the point? I'd just be subjected to endless procedures and pain without any real hope of improvement. I don't know what else to do, the man said with a sigh. It could take years and spend the rest of my money, but will it be worth it? Who knows? Maybe people recover even after the worst accidents, though not always completely. Thank you, Anna Marie said, touched by his attempt to comfort her. But you say, I'm just too exhausted to fight anymore. If you knew what I went through last year. Let me share my story with you, he offered. Maybe it will give you a better understanding of me. Well, if you have time, I'd like to hear it, Anna Marie said. Wait here, I'll call my assistant. She can bring us some tea or snacks. Tea sounds fine, the man replied. I'm sure you'll tire of my story quickly. And don't worry, there won't be any aliens in it, he added with a faint smile. The assistant arrived, set the table, and then left, giving them some privacy. So, my mother might have told you that my name is Patrick, he began. I was working in the north on a rotational basis. Everything was going well, until one day I decided to photograph the wild nature. I should have stayed on the path, but I wandered off, thinking it was a minor detour. What a fool I was, he continued. I ended up in an open area, and then a blizzard struck. I've never seen snow like that before, just endless white. I shouted for help, but the storm carried me further away from camp. I should have stayed put, but I tried to move to avoid freezing. Then, out of nowhere, a bear appeared. We came face to face. I had no weapon, no way to defend myself. Thankfully, the bear seemed uninterested in attacking me and just nudged me aside. That was enough to send me sprawling. A few hours later, or who knows how much time had passed, a hunter found me. He was tracking the bear and stumbled upon me, frostbitten and unconscious. He took me back to his hut. I don't know what connections he had, but he was no mere hermit. He began treating me for frostbite and other injuries. Anna Marie was captivated by the story but interjected, but didn't he have any way to call for medical help? Unfortunately, no, Patrick replied. The connection was broken, and even if he could reach someone, the rescue team wouldn't have been able to get to me due to the storm. He was skilled in first aid, though, and did his best with what he had. When I finally regained consciousness, I couldn't remember anything, not even my name. Anna Marie listened intently, feeling a pang of sympathy despite her own struggles. I didn't know how I ended up in the woods. My only address was in the city, and the hunter didn't think much of it. He figured I'd regain my memory eventually. While I was recovering, summer came and went. When I finally remembered who I was and where I came from, I was devastated to learn that the camp had been dismantled. The hunter told me to wait for a rescue team to come get me, but I was frustrated. "How long do I have to wait?" I asked. "As long as it takes," he replied. He was a grim man, not one for heart-to-heart talks, but I was equally unwilling to just wait. It was spring, the snow had melted, and I decided I would leave on my own. "Just tell me which way to go," I said. "I need to find my people or at least some form of civilization. My mother and son are waiting for me." The hunter told me I could go wherever I wanted but warned that I'd only get lost in the forest. "There are no signposts," he said, "and if you run into trouble, I might not be able to find you. I'm not here to look for lost souls, and winter is coming." Winter passed, and it wasn't until summer that he finally agreed to help me get back to civilization. The journey took a long time, and without money or documents, it was a challenge. I was too late to be there for my mother, and I regret that deeply. Anna Marie sighed and shared how she had met Mrs. Kearns, the kind teacher who had helped her. "Mario still doesn't know that his grandmother has passed away," she said. "I'm at a loss about how to tell him. My own mother died when I was 3, and I was kept in the dark for a long time. I remember waiting for her, and it's not as simple as people say. Children don't just forget their loved ones easily." "Some things are worth forgetting," Patrick said, "and the sooner, the better. But as for Mario, he's starting to remember some things about you, and I don't plan to take him away right now. I'd like to visit him as often as I can, if that's okay." "Of course," Anna Marie said. "You and Mario need to get used to each other. I'm just a stranger and disabled, so I understand." "If I were healthy, things might be different," she added. "But have you decided to surrender to your illness? Aren't you going to seek treatment?" "I've already decided that's not an option," Patrick replied. "It's a misguided view to think that lying down and waiting to die is the only path. If I had stayed in that hunter's hut, I would have died in obscurity. The hunter told me if I didn't make an effort, I'd end up dead. He wasn't going to coddle me. As a city man, I initially expected others to take care of me. When I realized no one would, I had to help myself. And I did. The hunter later admitted he didn't think I'd make it." Patrick looked at Anna Marie earnestly. "I'm not trying to persuade you, but if you give up, you'll not only make yourself miserable, but you won't be able to help Mario either. I see how attached he is to you. If you're not able to take care of yourself, what will happen to him? Do you want him to grow up carrying the burden of caring for you, especially if there's no money for a caregiver?" Anna Marie considered this and replied, "I'll go to a home for the disabled." "That's a good solution," Patrick said. "Especially for a young and beautiful woman like you." "I don't dream of anything like that," Anna Marie said, barely holding back her tears. "I want to live, but please understand, it's terrifying. The spine operation could leave me completely disabled. There's a chance I might not even be able to sit in a wheelchair. I'll be like a log. Do you think that's better?" "I don't think so," Patrick said gently, "but it's not good to just sit here either. You have money, so you might be able to find a skilled doctor who can help." Anna Marie wanted to argue, to shout at him as she often did. It was easy for him to speak so calmly, but she had endured so much and couldn't afford to risk what little she had left. Yet, as she glanced at the scars on her arms, left either by frostbite or a bear's claws, she felt a wave of bitter despair. "I'm sorry, but it's incredibly hard for me," she cried. "I'm alone. I've lost faith in everyone. How can I know which doctor is trustworthy? How do I know if I'll make it through rehabilitation? And who will come to my hospital to support me? I feel like everyone would be relieved if I just disappeared." "Stop crying and being afraid," Patrick said firmly. "I understand, even if it's from a man's perspective. Yes, it's harder for you, but you need to live, and I want you to live fully. Tomorrow, I'll find out everything about your injury, the operation, the risks, everything. Then I'll tell you what I learn, and you can decide what to do from there." Meanwhile, if you don't mind, I'd like to visit with Mario before I leave." Anna Marie nodded, puzzled by Patrick's words. Alone, she pondered his advice. Was she right to refuse even a chance to regain the ability to walk? Yes, the surgery would be difficult, and the doctors were honest about the risks, but refusing it meant making her life, and those around her, even harder. She was already a burden, including to the nurse she had hired. Her own behavior had deteriorated. Once a determined woman, she was becoming capricious and demanding. She closed her eyes in shame, recalling how she'd acted when Patrick visited. When he returned to say goodbye, she asked, "If it's not too much trouble, could you find out more about the surgery? It can't go on like this." Patrick simply nodded, a look of joy and approval in his eyes. Preparations for the surgery began immediately. Despite her ongoing condition, Anna Marie's attitude shifted dramatically. She no longer demanded extra attention and started addressing problems on her own. She even spoke with the doctor Patrick had found for her and faced the future with newfound confidence. The surgery was successful, though standing on her own 2 feet was still a distant goal. Initially, it seemed her situation might worsen, but Patrick and Mario's daily visits to the hospital provided unwavering support. They celebrated every small victory with her. Finally, the day came when she stood up with Patrick's help for the first time since the accident. It was just the beginning, but Anna Marie was hopeful she would soon walk independently and return to her old life. Her business continued to trouble her, but not just financially. She realized she couldn't abandon her father's legacy. While still in the hospital, she began re-engaging with those running the business. Initially over the phone, but soon in person, she started meeting them, even in a business suit after her discharge. At a general meeting, using a cane for support, she declared, "We've lost a lot due to my illness and the actions of my former deputy, but I'm confident that together we can recover and grow." The employees welcomed her with applause. As her business skills and personal life improved, her relationship with Patrick deepened. She recognized the crucial role he played in her recovery. "You literally saved me," Anna Marie told him one day. "Without your words, I would still be in a wheelchair, demanding from everyone." Patrick replied, "That's because I fell in love with you, Anna Marie. Yes, at first sight, even with your illness and unhappiness. I believed you'd stand and walk with me in a white dress. Will you agree to be my wife?" Anna Marie felt she had finally met someone she could trust completely and loved deeply, perhaps for the first time. "Of course, I agree," she replied, "but only after I can walk without my cane." She didn't have to wait long. Soon, at a solemn ceremony, the radiant bride and groom shared their first dance, celebrating their new life together.